Well, it's time for us to get into election time, where we literally count down to the November 1st local government elections. Tonight, on Election Time on Prime, we focus on the Beaufort West Municipality. A little more about Beaufort West. It's a Category B municipality within the Central Karoo district in the Western Cape province. It's the oldest municipality in South Africa. The Municipal Council consists of 13 members elected by mixed member proportional representation. 7 councillors are elected by first-past-the-post voting in 7 wards, while the remaining 6 are chosen from party lists. In the 2016 local government elections, no party obtained a majority. The DA and the ANC each won 6 seats, and the Karoo Democratic Force won the remaining seat. Well, as always, each candidate will get 2 minutes to make a case on why voters should consider them in the upcoming local government elections. Please note that, of course, when the 2 minutes is up, I will be asking you to conclude your remarks. It will then be followed by a question and answer session and an opportunity to wrap up for a minute from all of the candidates. Today we feature the DA's Derick, Welgemoed, the ANC's Ayanda and the EFF's Nosipho Makamba-Botya. Good evening to all of you, and thank you so much for your time. Well, I suppose a good place to start would be giving each of you an opportunity to make the case for why voters should go with your party or the organization you are representing for this election. As usual, I will take the comments in terms of the layout that we're seeing on our screen. So, Derick, that means that you are up first.
Thank you. My name is Derick Welgemoed. I've been involved with local government for the last 25, 26 years, of which 17 years I've been working as a municipal manager. During those time, Beaufort West Municipality in 2003 won the winner awards for municipal excellence as the best run municipality in the Western Cape. And I want to show you what it looks like. This is what a winner awards looks like, signed by Minister Sydney Mufamadi. And also in the DA camp, we have very, very competent people. Jaapie van der Linde is the mayoral candidate for Beaufort West Municipality. And we as a DA, our slogan is, we get things done. We see the service delivery as a priority. We are serious about improving the lives of the people in the Karoo. If I may just touch on the DA to-do list, get the basics right, build world-class roads and public transport, be tough on crime, tougher on the causes of crime, bring jobs and investments to the local economy, collaborate for sustainable housing, adopt a holistic approach to keeping communities in good health, govern in the interest of the people. And that is what we offer the people of Beaufort West and the Central Karoo. It's good governance that will make a difference in the lives of the people of Beaufort West and the bigger Central Karoo.
All right, Derick, it sounds like you're done there, still within your 2-minute allocation. Let me move on to Ayanda, who is representing the ANC. Ayanda.
Good evening to everyone, and thank you very much for having me here tonight. I must say, voting for the ANC is not throwing your vote away. The ANC, especially in the Karoo, is the one organization that is very much caring, that has set example for the poor people. If you go and zoom into the Karoo, it's one of the poorest areas that you will see in the rural areas in South Africa. That was identified back in the day of President Mbeki as a nodal area. People are dependent on social grants, and this becoming a problem because job opportunities are very scarce. I must say that voting for the ANC has proven itself, because as far as my memory can stretch was that free water and electricity started right there at Beaufort West Municipality, where we were giving subsidies to our communities, understanding that there is no money for them to afford as such. We are currently facing a few challenges within the municipality and taking full responsibility thereof. In fact, the ANC's vote is the vote that you are not throwing away, because it's the only party, as far as I could remember, that has given us an opportunity to choose your own candidate. The councillors that you are voting for is not a councillor brought down or enforced to you. It's the choice of the people. You are giving directly a mandate to the people that you want them to lead you. The ethics are chosen by our communities. They are tired of the corruption that is only shaded to the ANC, while as we find corrupt people representing the opposition parties and not speaking about that. The ANC is the only organization that is bringing out its corruption on its own and dealing with it in public, fearlessly so. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, Ayanda, thanks for that. Also within the 2-minute allocation to give voters why, to argue, at least for voters, in terms of why they should vote for the ANC in the upcoming elections. Nosipho, you speak on behalf of the EFF, or you're the EFF's representative tonight in this conversation. Why should people trust your party with the vote?
And thanks for having me. And I'm glad that I've spoken after the two podcasts that you have spoken, the DA and the ANC. The history have told us that the two parties that have just spoken now have failed our communities. The unemployment in all the municipalities, in fact, nationally, continues to be very high. Our people are still having issues of housing. There's no electricity, which is basic necessities. So with the EFF, with what we have said with our manifesto, which is in line with what we have actually received from our consultative meetings with all the sectors across the board, where we've listened to our people, they've told us their challenges, they've told their disappointments in both the two parties that have just spoken now, especially the DA in the Western Cape, where they only cater for a specific race and they don't care about any other communities at large. It's all about the little suburbs and all about the white people. If you go to all these communities, all of them, most of our black people are still staying in appalling conditions in informal settlements. It's been years. They've been voting for DA, voting for the ANC, which is very corrupt. We've seen in the past news that even if employees, they couldn't honor to pay like basic salaries to their employees. So as EFF, we are saying, we're the only party that is able or that is advocating for the dignity of our black people at large. So we want our communities to give the opportunity to the EFF to make sure that we implement whatever is on our manifesto, which we have actually received directly from our communities. It's not something that we just some parts out of nowhere. It's a generic manifesto. No, we've spoken to our people, we've heard them, and now it's in our Bible as an election manifesto. We want our people now to give us the confidence and vote for the EFF so that we can be able to implement everything that they have requested us to do.
All right, Nosipho, your 2 minutes is up. We'll leave it there for now. So we'll take a quick break, and when we continue, we'll get into more and find out exactly what is happening in the Beaufort West Municipality. We'll also ask about some of the pressing issues that municipality needs to deal with. We continue with election time on Prime, and today we are focusing on the Beaufort West local municipality, and we have some of the candidates that are standing for election during this local government season, the representatives of the DA, the ANC and the EFF. So, Derick, I wanted to come back to you and just ask you about an issue which I think is quite important, and I'm sure you are already expecting it. One expects that candidates who are standing for election or who are serving in council in any way to lead by example. You, of course, have been criticized quite heavily for what seems to be an outstanding bill, a municipal bill of 600,000 rand that has not been paid to date. What is happening there? And, you know, if the person who's wanting to be elected cannot pay their bill, on what grounds would you be able to really tell others to do that?
Thank you for that. When I left the municipality as municipal manager way back in 2000, at the end of 2005, I went into the private sector I bought plots, which I developed, and I transferred them into a development trust, and that I did business out of that trust. But then the recession came in 2008, and that trust became dormant. It's totally insolvent. It has been lying there for 13 years. That situation came from before I was even a councillor. That situation started, and it's still there. So one mustn't confuse myself as a councillor or person owing municipality money. I don't owe the municipality any money at all. That is a trust, which is a legal entity, and it's standing away from me. It's like a company. And that company is dormant, it's insolvent for 13 years, and it's been lying there. Every election, 2011, 2016, the opposition parties get on this bandwagon, and then it just disappeared again. But that is the factual facts, is that is a trust, and that debt. It's not my debt. It's a trust and a legal entity, which stands one side for me.
But Derick, it's still very much a trust that you are linked to, not?
Absolutely, but I should have just liquidated that trust a few years ago. But I will certainly do it after this election, because every election it becomes an issue, and as I say, it's been dormant for the last 13 years, and every election time it becomes, because it gets on the agenda, and after the election it disappears again. After this,
yeah. So I hear you on the point that you're making, that ultimately you believe that your political foes use it as an issue to criticize you or criticize the kind of campaign that you're running. But ultimately, it's not a good look, because whether you're dealing with the issue of a trust as a legal entity or you as an individual, the fact that you have this position and you're running to be a councillor, you're running to effectively lead the Beaufort West Municipality. You have to lead by example, whether it's as an individual or any other associated organizations that may be linked to you.
Look, as I say, it's a legal entity, and it's been dormant and insolvent for 13 years. Legally, it's not part of me. One can make a case out, that maybe I should pay it, but as I say, there's no obligation, and people do business, and things go wrong in business, and that is one that went wrong in Sour in 2008, and it just never survived it. So as I say, it's not me; it's a legal entity, and you must understand that also code of conduct for councillors is applicable to councillors and not legal entities. It's different personas.
So just to be clear then, Derick, would you be extending the same grace to other legal entities / businesses, trusts that find themselves in the same position as you in your municipality?
Look, it has to be liquidated. That's what I will do after this election. I will certainly do that. But as I say, the people are confusing the issues, and they're deliberately doing it because I'm a DA councillor. They get this thing on the agenda. Every election time, it's the third time they're doing it now. And as I say, I will liquidate it. It's a legal entity, but I will deal with it.
Ayanda, does it matter? Does it matter to you, or do you think that, as Derick is saying, this is an unnecessary issue that is often used just to tarnish his image?
No. It can't be seen as an unnecessary issue. Not at all. Because when the DA is stealing from the poor, it's called that it is a legal entity. Actually, that is taking from the poor, because if you are not paying your revenue and the poor are paying with money they don't have, then whose money are you using? You are actually stealing from the poor. Then there's no way you can say it doesn't matter. So it's just a fashionable thing. It's legal when it's from the DA, and when it's from the ANC, it's called corruption. the definition totally changes. So I can't see it as a matter that, no, it can be negotiated for the fact that the aspiring or let's say that the person that is supposed to be coming the face of the opposition, which is the DA, is coming and explaining himself in public, something that would never happen within the ANC, because we have processes of dealing with such issues. We have a process called step aside. He was supposed to be on the side, the same as our councillors are on side now, not being able to come and explain themselves. It's actually an embarrassment to have such a presentation on behalf of the DA, saying that stealing is a legal thing to do and trying to make a formal excuse about it. It cannot be right. It's unfair to the taxpayers as well.
Of course, Ayanda, in the previous election, the ANC was unable to convince voters that it was, in fact, the right party to give the majority of the vote to in Beaufort West.
Of course, we might have failed, and that's where the DA took over. And at some point, one feels that they have forgotten that they have been in charge, because the people have rejected them. In 2016, you are right, we lost the election where the people thought that the DA will do much better. They couldn't even keep up for 2 years. Halfway through their term, the people have seen that actually the DA, they are saying they are the only ones that can run a clean government, that can take care of the people's needs. Our community suffered for the 2 years while being in opposition. Hence, we came back into power through a coalition.
Nosipho, let's talk about the role of the EFF, of course, being a small party, and the kind of expectations that you have about how you will fare in this round of elections. I mean, do you think that in an area where the stronghold seems to flow between the DA and the ANC, that you stand a fighting chance?
Okay, well, I think what's the most important thing is that our people, we need to instill political education to our people, because we've seen, especially with many by-elections that have taken place in the past, where you would see people are not voting with conscience. They're voting because, for an example, in one ward in Wittenberg, where we had by-elections, a DA political party had a truck there, packed with milk, with bread and T-shirts. When they bring those people, they dish out the T-shirts and the milk and the loaf of bread, and the voter is only voting for that. So I think what's important, what we're currently doing as EFF, we are making sure that we are talking to our people. We are trying to unlock their minds to understand that they cannot vote for a can of milk, they cannot vote for a loaf of bread and a T-shirt. This thing is all about dignity, because EFF is all about bringing the dignity of the black person and colored communities, because our people are suffering. They've been voting for the DA for decades. They've been voting for the ANC, but nothing is changing. But both these political parties, they are going to go back to the same communities and start making empty promises. So we are saying to our communities out there, they must give us an opportunity. They must give us a space where we can implement what our policies are all about. Because remember, even our slogan, it says land and jobs now. Our people are really struggling. The economy of South Africa is just a mess. So as EFF, we want to see change. We want to bring dignity to our communities. So we want our people to vote for the EFF. As difficult as it is to penetrate, especially in other areas, like in rural areas where people still are afraid because they belong to small party where they fear to lose their jobs because they are associated with the EFF. So we are trying our level best to unlock those people to understand what revolution is all about.
So, Nosipho, I've heard you criticizing the fact that, you know, there are free goods, whether it's food or free T-shirts that are given out by some of your political opponents. Does the EFF not give any free goods out?
We, as EFF, we don't do those things. We only help our people on social needs if there's a need for, like, if we want to support a community. But we can't now on the voting day, we are seen as if we are buying a vote by giving out meals to our people. That is not on, because once the voting is over, the DA and the ANC are gone. And those people, they come back to the EFF and cry to us And we must be there because we can't say to them, no, we can't help you because you didn't vote for the EFF. So I think as time goes on, our people are going to understand what is important in their lives, because it's not about a loaf of bread, it's not about a T-shirt, it's not about a bottle of milk. It's about voting for the party that is here to bring change in our communities.
Derick, let me bring you in here. You've been listening to your colleagues there. Perhaps you want to have an opportunity just to respond to some of the things that they've said very briefly before I give you your opportunity to also give your closing remarks.
Okay, thank you. You know, the opposition is focusing on issues like a dormant trust. You should look at Beaufort West as a municipality. Beaufort West municipality as a organ of state that should render services to the public is destroyed. Beaufort, remember, in 2003, Beaufort West was a well-run municipality, and then eventually cadre deployment started, and it went from bad to worse to worse to worse. In the last 5 years, okay, let's go back to 2016. 2016, when the DA took over, Japie van der Linde, the mayor, actually managed to turn the municipality around. There was almost no bank overdraft left after the 2 years that Japie was in the chair. And then the KDF went over to the ANC, and the wheels came off completely. The whole municipality fell apart. Cadre deployment started, corruption. You talk about corruption. I can tell you there's serious corruption going on at the West municipality. I'm being targeted because I laid the criminal charges that caused this arrest. I admit it, and there are more arrests to come. I admit that as well. And there are a lot more cases. There are about 6 cases at the moment. Beaufort West is going to get cleaned up. But the DA need to get empowered to do that. We've got the skills to turn this mess around. You know, the sewage is running in the streets. Refuse is not being removed. There are water leaks all over the place. Municipal vehicles driving with borrowed tires because that counts cannot be paid. Beaufort West municipality is a mess. If you drive in town, sometimes I drive around areas to avoid the sewage that is running in the streets.
All right, Derick.
Because I don't need. Sorry.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you there because we're quickly running out of time. So if you can then just wrap up in a minute for me again to make the argument for why you think the DA would be best placed to run the municipality.
Look, the DA believe in core values. We want to improve the lives of the community. We believe in the rule of law. We want to improve the lives of the citizens. We want to make that difference. If you look at the Western Cape, all the municipalities, the DA municipalities in the Western Cape are well-run municipalities, and they are head and shoulders above all the other municipalities in the rest of the country. The DA has a capacity to do that. The DA do not do this corruption, and I can tell you stories that's going on at Beaufort West municipality right now. There's a Cypro document lying in my car of a payment that was made to some ANC people in 2004 from a company. I've got the Cypro documents in my car.
All right, Derick, your minute is up. Your minute is up. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave it there with you. Ayanda, your minute to wrap up starts now.
Okay, then thank you for the opportunity once again. I must say I was intrigued now by Councillor Welgemoed when he says more arrests will be happening. I hope that will include himself, as he has explained that he is very much aware that he owes the municipality. That is a crime. So let's start there. And in closing, I would like to say to the communities of Beaufort,
got no idea.
Lending us their vote is not throwing a vote away, is investing in their vote because we care. We do care about our people. We know we are a poor area. We take charge. The CWP is not anybody's project. It's a project by the national government, which is the ANC. We are normally told that the Community Works Project, it's a government, but who is the government? It's the ANC government. It's the only government that can take care of their needs. Also, ethical. We are the only ones spoken about corruption. Every input here comes on corruption. Which government, which leading party has ever spoken about corruption and said, we are dealing it open, we are bringing it out to our community?
All right, Ayanda, your time is up. We're going to have to leave it there. Your minute is up. Nosipho, your minute starts now.
Thank you very much. My plea is that the people of Beaufort West, in fact, the Western Cape at large, especially in the rural areas, our people are still very colonized. They do not understand what politics is all about. We want our people to vote with conscience and understand this is a lifetime political party that is here to make sure we deliver, we bring the dignity of our people. Our slogan for the elections of 2021 this year, it says, our land and jobs now. So without land, we are nothing. So we want our people to understand the importance of having the land so that they can work the land, have agricultural activities, employ other people, and create jobs. So we want our people to not vote with the stomach. They must vote with conscience, understanding exactly what they are going to benefit in future. Because both two parties, DA and the ANC, they've been in government, and our people are still divided. You can
All right,
imagine.
Nosipho, completely out of time. Your minute is up. We'll have to leave it there. Let me thank all of the delegates from Beaufort West Municipality. That's where we'll wrap it up on Election Time on Prime.